What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and I want to talk to you about something important today. This is going to be a familiar topic because I've covered it several times in the past, but I want to cover it again today and add a lot of new information, so I ask you to bear with me. It's also a topic that I had not looked forward to talking about, but it's one that I think is important that I do talk about at this time, even though I know there could be a shitstorm that follows it. But we're just going to do it live. Fuck it, right? A lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people have been fairly critical about the jokes that I've been making on my channel lately, and for good reason. I've invited criticism upon myself by uploading videos to YouTube and then commenting about them and reading other people's comments and posting about it on Facebook and post about it on Twitter and talking to people about it. And honestly, I enjoy other people's criticism. I like to hear it. Sometimes it's difficult for me to agree with. Sometimes I get defensive. But at the end of the day, I think it's good that people criticize me because it helps me grow and learn as a person. But also because recently I kind of judged another YouTuber for the stuff he does by the name of Onision, and he made some fat jokes, and it kind of really hurt my feelings, and I kind of came out against it, and I don't know. It's something I maybe shouldn't have done at the end of the day. I'm not sure that I should have. But I think a lot of people are glad that I did, but maybe it's not my place. Because someone had asked me, Boogie, why do you get to make fat jokes and other people can't? What makes you the person that decides what jokes are appropriate and what aren't? And that's a really, really good point. And I'll even say something that stuck with me during all those exchanges. Somebody said, Boogie, when you make fun... when you play your character Francis, you're making fun of people with anger issues and emotional issues. You're making fun of people who have obesity issues. You're making fat jokes. You're making fun of people with speech impediments. You're making fun of gamers. When you play your character Jesse, you're making fun of people with accents. You're making fun of people who are rednecks. You're making fun of all kinds of stuff. So why do you get to do it and other people don't? And I'd like to talk about that today because I thought a lot about it. I have. And here's my answer. And it may not be good enough. I understand if it's not. But when I play my character Francis, I'm fat. So I make fat jokes. And people who know me know that I have rage issues. Know that I've always had rage issues and anger issues. I asked the people in my high school about how I threw a desk through a window one day in a classroom. I asked people who've dealt with me my entire life. I am a gamer, so of course I make fun of my own gaming culture. I do make fun of, I do make fat jokes because I'm fat. At the end of the day, the reason I feel that it's okay for me to play Francis is because Francis is me. I am Francis. And I believe that humor starts at home. That if you can't make fun of yourself, that you're not allowed to make fun of anything else in this world. You've got to start with yourself. And for just a handful of choices different, I would be Francis today. He's very much a facet of me. He's definitely one of my faces, I guess you could say is the easiest way to put that, for people who don't know the word facet. My character Jesse is also very, very much related to me. I grew up in the hills of Southwest Virginia. I was definitely a redneck kid. I definitely enjoy that culture. I love that culture. I grew up watching WWE. I grew up watching NASCAR. I mean, all of the cliches and all of the stereotypes of being a redneck, that was me. And here's another secret a lot of people don't know. When I grew up with a Southern accent. Just like this, pretty close to this. Because this is what people back home sound like. I mean, this is how everyone pretty much talks to one extent or another. And I grew up speaking this way for the first 13, 14 years of my life. And one day my brother came home and he said, Steve, if you want to make it in the real world outside of Southwest Virginia, you're going to have to learn to speak without that accent. You're going to have to learn to speak the way the people do on television. Listen to the newscasters. Listen to the way they talk. That's how you'll need to learn to talk because they make fun of me so much at college for my accent, and I'm trying to lose it myself. Do yourself the favor and lose it. And I did. And so when I speak right now, I try to speak very much the way I expect a newscaster to sound. And I know I still have a bit of a southern accent. I'll never completely lose. I pronounce some words completely incorrectly. The word going is often goring in my speech. I tend to I tend to have even further problems speaking because of my teeth. And you guys have seen my teeth. Look at this. I'm missing a good 60-70% of my teeth. I have broken root tips in the back. My teeth in the front are all jacked. My tongue is often swollen. I have infections in my mouth. I know what it's like to have difficulty speaking. So when Francis speaks with a lisp, one of the reasons I developed the lisp character to begin with was because I was naturally lisping due to missing teeth, and I had to learn to not do it. So humor very much starts at home. Humor starts right here. And if you can't make fun of yourself, you can't make fun of anyone or anything else. And so you're damn right. At the end of the day, what I make fun of, for the most part on my channel, is myself. 98% of the jokes I make are about myself. Now, sometimes I do fuck up. Sometimes I'm a little harsh on myself, and other people see those jokes and they think, well, he's talking about me too, because I have similarities to him. And some of those people are hurt by that, and they're offended by it. And I got to tell you, when that happens, it hurts my feelings bad. I don't ever want to make anybody feel uncomfortable in their own body. I don't want anybody else to ever feel comfortable about the way they talk. I don't want anybody else to ever feel uncomfortable for the way that they've been bullied for being a gamer, for having the beliefs that they have. I don't want anybody to feel bad about the cultural differences they have, whether they're a redneck or whether they're from the city or whether they're from somewhere in between. I always worry about that, and I always think about it, and I want you to know that I am going to fuck up. I'm only human. I've fucked up in the past and I've fucked up before, but I want you to know that it is something that I'm constantly thinking about. I'm constantly thinking about, is this joke okay? Is this joke appropriate? Is this something I'll upload to YouTube? And I'll tell you something else that a lot of people don't know about me. When it comes to jokes on my personal level with my fiance or my close friends, I make the most distasteful, awful, just shitty jokes. No excuse for it whatsoever. I've always found that type of humor to be somewhat funny to me. Recently I've really toned it down a lot, and I'm trying to get rid of it entirely, even in my personal life. But I've always loved shock humor. But I believe in the phrase, know your audience. Be responsible with the jokes you tell, and so you don't tell those kinds of jokes on YouTube. You don't come here with the intent to be offensive, and you don't come here with the intent to be abrasive, and you don't come here without the concept and knowledge that people are going to see what you create, and it's going to affect them on a personal, emotional level, and you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And maybe that's why I was critical of other YouTubers, by the way, because I don't feel that guy was being very careful. I don't feel that I didn't feel that guy was trying to be socially responsible. And I want you to know, at the end of the day, I'm not a perfect person. I'm far from it. I'm probably one of the least perfect people you'll ever have the opportunity to know. But that said, I hope you know it's important to me to be right. It's important to me to be kind. It's important to me to be nice. And I absolutely try. I fail. I fail, man, all the time. But know that each one of those failures is like a dagger in my heart. Because every time I see one of those comments, one of those critical comments, I think about that fat kid. I think about my one of the shows that I watched with my girlfriend, How I Met Your Mother. Every episode, or at least every other episode, there's a really, really mean fat joke. And every time I watch one, and that fat joke hits, it's like a thud to my chest. It just fucking hurts. It knocks me out of the show. It knocks me out of the moment, and it makes me feel bad. But I'm pretty tough-skinned these days, so whatever. That's fine. But when I was a kid, in my formative years, I think about how devastating that could be. And then I think about the kids who watch my channel, and how when I really make that joke that's over the line, make that joke that's one step too personal, and the way they get it thudded in the chest, and it makes me want to apologize. It makes me want to say I'm sorry, because I'd never want to make you feel that way. I never do. Never in life. I love you guys, and I want you guys to feel at least as good as you've made me feel, and that's my responsibility as a comedian on YouTube.